Good morning. On the morning of the 7th, a CNN journalist spotted the U.S. Navy amphibious assault ship USS Tripoli passing through the Singapore-Malacca Strait. Interestingly, the ship had not turned off its automatic identification system, making it easy to track on marine traffic. The USS Tripoli is normally stationed at Sasebo Base in Japan. It is 259 meters long, displaces around 45,000 tons, and can carry F-35B fighter jets and MV-22 Osprey aircraft. In many ways, it functions like a small aircraft carrier. It is one of the United States' key naval assets in East Asia, positioned to counter China, North Korea, and Russia. On March 11th, the U.S. Secretary of Defense approved a request from Central Command to deploy the USS Tripoli from Okinawa to the Middle East. Its mission: move toward the Strait of Hormuz and prepare for a potential large-scale confrontation with Iran. At its current speed, the Tripoli is expected to take 12 to 16 days to arrive, likely between March 25 and March 29th. It is expected to rendezvous with the USS George H.W. Bush carrier group to coordinate operations, including potential island seizure missions in the Strait of Hormuz. The force expected to carry out such operations is the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit aboard the Tripoli. This unit falls under the Navy and can be rapidly deployed by presidential order without congressional approval. It consists of about 5,000 personnel, 2,200 Marines, and 2,800 Navy personnel. The unit is equipped with 16 F-35B jets, 12 Osprey aircraft, and heavy-lift helicopters. It specializes in rapid, mobile, amphibious assault operations and is currently one of the fastest deployable U.S. forces capable of island seizure. While the Tripoli is still en route, another major development has already taken place. On March 17, 6 THAAD missile defense systems were quietly transferred from South Korea to the Middle East. According to reports, the launchers and interceptors were moved under heavy secrecy, escorted by U.S. military police, and transported to Osan Air Base before being airlifted. The transfer involved C-5 Galaxy and C-17 Globemaster transport aircraft, flying in multiple waves via Guam and Diego Garcia. By March 17th, all systems had arrived at U.S. bases across the Middle East. However, the powerful AN/TPY-2 radar systems were left behind in South Korea. This decision allows the U.S. to maintain surveillance over Northeast Asia, including China and North Korea, while also preserving strategic commitments to its allies. The deployed THAAD systems have been distributed across key locations, including Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, and the UAE. Previously, the U.S. had already deployed multiple air defense systems in the region, but many were damaged or destroyed during the first phase of the conflict due to Iranian missile and drone attacks. That's why these reinforcements were urgently needed. Due to extreme heat conditions, some radar systems are still under repair and are expected to become operational between March 20 and March 22. Full combat readiness is expected by March 25 to March 27. Now pay attention to these two key timelines. The USS Tripoli is expected to arrive near the Strait of Hormuz between March 25 and 29. THAAD systems will become fully operational between March 25 and 27. This suggests that a major coordinated offensive could take place within this window. Of now, the war has entered its 20th day. Over these 20 days, U.S. and Israeli forces have conducted strikes on approximately 15,000 targets inside Iran. Iran's top leadership structure has been severely weakened. Its Navy and Air Force have suffered heavy losses, and much of its air defense network has been destroyed. Even civilian infrastructure has been hit, including over 120 schools and more than 200 medical facilities. At present, U.S. and Israeli aircraft conduct around 350 to 400 airstrikes per day across Iran. With most military targets already destroyed, strikes have shifted toward symbolic and economic targets. One major example is the South Pars gas field, one of the most important energy sites in the world. This field supplies about 75% of Iran's natural gas and is a cornerstone of its economy. Strikes on this facility aim to cripple Iran's energy supply and create internal pressure. In response, Iran has issued warnings and carried out retaliatory strikes on energy infrastructure linked to U.S. interests across the Gulf region. Despite heavy bombardment, Iran is far from defeated. The key reason: geography. Iran has spent decades building underground military facilities deep inside mountain ranges like the Zagros and Alborz. These facilities are buried 80 to 150 meters underground, far beyond the penetration capability of even advanced bunker-busting bombs. Even the most powerful U.S. weapons can only penetrate around 60 meters of concrete or 40 meters of rock. This means a large portion of Iran's military capability remains intact underground. My estimate: about 30% of Iran's military capability has been destroyed, while roughly 70% remains operational. This is why air superiority alone cannot end this war. At the same time, Israel and the U.S. are also under pressure. Israeli air defenses are being stretched thin. Systems like Iron Dome are effective against short-range threats, but struggle against hypersonic missiles. Interception rates have dropped significantly, and missile stockpiles are running low. Iran, meanwhile, continues launching daily attacks, around 40 to 60 missiles and 200 to 300 drones per day. Both sides are now entering a war of attrition, and this is where the global impact becomes critical. The conflict is centered around the world's most important oil and gas region. Continued fighting will push energy prices higher, fueling global inflation. Oil prices have already surged above $110 per barrel and could rise further if the conflict continues. Iran has reportedly targeted multiple vessels in the Strait of Hormuz, creating panic in global shipping markets. For countries like Russia, higher oil prices bring economic benefits. The longer this war continues, the more it reshapes global power dynamics. At this stage, the core battleground is the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. objective is clear: secure the strait, ensure safe passage for global oil shipments, and stabilize prices. The likely plan involves U.S. Marines launching amphibious assaults to seize key islands and control the choke points of the strait. But even if the U.S. succeeds, holding the region will be extremely difficult. Iran's forces, hidden in mountainous terrain, can continue launching missile and drone attacks indefinitely. This could turn into a prolonged and costly conflict. If Iran can sustain resistance for 3 months, pressure on the U.S. and Israel will increase significantly. If it lasts 6 months, the entire situation could shift unpredictably. Right now, neither side can decisively defeat the other. The United States and Israel cannot fully destroy Iran, and Iran cannot achieve a decisive breakthrough. This is a stalemate, but it is a dangerous one, because time favors escalation, and as the war drags on, the real impact will be felt globally. Rising energy prices, economic instability, and increasing geopolitical tension. The decisive battle expected in late March or early April will not be the end. It may only be the beginning of a much longer conflict. March 2026.